Seth Rollins has appeared to confirm his involvement with the Masked Man, so we'll take a look at that. We'll also see what's up with Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, and more. Starting things off with Seth Rollins, because for the first time ever, he's addressing the Masked Man. And not only addressing him, but also apparently teasing his own involvement in that situation as well. Seth Rollins had this to say about the Masked Man attack in a recent interview. Quote, "I'm telling you right now, my shoulder is not fine, but I don't need my shoulders to do my signature move. So again, I'll leave it up to you, you can figure it out," end quote. A very thought-provoking remark there by Seth Rollins, basically telling fans that he would still be able to deliver a curb stomp while his shoulder is still in recovery, which is of course hinting at the idea that Seth could have been behind the attack on Braun Breaker at the Royal Rumble. Seth Rollins basically saying that even with a wrecked shoulder, he can still go out there for a quick curb stomp. So he wants everyone to consider him as a possibility for the Masked Man attack at the Royal Rumble. Now there are some rumors circulating that it will be ultimately revealed that Seth Rollins was behind these new waves of attacks from the Masked Man. But the surprising part is that if that's true, why would Seth just basically give that big reveal away in a random interview? If Seth was really behind the situation, it definitely feels like they would have kept things a bit more silent. But for him to go on this interview and basically fully tease and own the idea of being the Masked Man that attacked Braun Breaker at the Royal Rumble, it is a bit surprising. So that does make you also wonder if there is another big swerve and twist coming up, because there's no way Seth Rollins would just give that big reveal away like that off screen in an interview. So Seth's response is making fans surely think harder about the situation. What Seth said is true, his shoulder is still banged up, he can't lift anyone, he's not cleared to compete. But for a quick run-in and delivering a kick and a curb stomp, he does not require his shoulders for any of those moves. So it's a great tease and a great point by him. So technically speaking, maybe Seth Rollins truly is in play to be the Masked Man after all, but at the same time, it just feels too easy for Seth to be the attacker. Seth's name was the first name that came out of Paul Heyman's mouth when the attack took place at the Royal Rumble. And now you got Seth basically taking ownership of the attack in this interview. Something definitely feels a little off there. It just can't be as straightforward as that. Seth wants us to think it was him under the hood at the Royal Rumble. But what if the actual reveal is what fans have been saying for months? That the Masked Man is probably not literally Seth Rollins, but a clever operation that Seth is orchestrating from behind the scenes. It's not literally him under the hood, but he did order the attack to be done, and is still the mastermind behind it without getting his hands too dirty. That does seem like a route that is strongly still in play. We spoke about this a few days back, but it really does feel like the only big payoff for this entire new Masked Man saga would be Braun Breaker versus Seth Rollins. Any other payoff would be questionable. It just seems like the perfect scenario to bring Seth back with and lead towards this big match and the reveal that Seth was spying or keeping an eye on the Vision this whole entire time. And that's how he was able to orchestrate these perfectly timed attacks. So that was a huge remark there by Seth Rollins, and we'll have to see how this Masked Man story will progress, and if there'll be more attacks and maybe more indications that Seth is truly behind everything after all. Liv Morgan is the 2026 Women's Royal Rumble winner, and that grants her the right to face any world champion of her choosing at WrestleMania 42. Liv Morgan has yet to make her selection official. She did tease the idea of coming over to Smackdown and eyeing how things are looking with Jade Cargill and the women's title, but all the hints and signs point towards Liv Morgan truly selecting the Women's World Championship. There's been a few instances where the Royal Rumble winner will go off the rails and select another brand's world champion, but for the most part, the Royal Rumble winner usually selects their brand's world champion. We just saw it recently with Roman Reigns. Roman has been more of a Raw superstar in recent years, and that was just topped off by him selecting to face the Raw World Champion, CM Punk. Similar idea here for Liv Morgan. It'll be really strange for Liv Morgan to select Jade Cargill and the women's title for WrestleMania 42. That does not feel like the direction the company is headed at all, and that feels more like a random match. It seems highly likely that Liv Morgan will select the World Championship, because that's where the better story is at, and a lot of great seeds have already been planted there. Ever since Liv Morgan returned in late November, Raquel Rodriguez has been chasing the women's world title. Raquel has had multiple opportunities to defeat Stephanie and take that world title, but Raquel has lost every single one of those big matches in recent months. The most recent big loss came on the Raw after the Royal Rumble, where Raquel was facing Stephanie in a street fight for the title. Liv Morgan tried to help and assist Raquel in the match, but it was Liv's help that actually ended up distracting Raquel and allowing Stephanie to get the upper hand for the win. And after the match, Liv Morgan attacked Stephanie, picks up the Women's World title and holds it over her head. That moment did seem like Liv Morgan non-verbally confirming her selection for her WrestleMania 42 match, but we'll have to wait a bit longer for that official verbal confirmation more down the line. But the better story is for Liv Morgan to go after the Women's World title, because that would absolutely intensify the narrative between Liv and Raquel right now. Here's Raquel, who's been desperately chasing after this exact title for months, but in every single match, she gets screwed and loses. Especially in the most recent match where it was Liv, who basically screwed her out of the title. And now Raquel has to sit back as Liv Morgan gets a title match at WrestleMania 42 for the exact same title she's been chasing for months. And if Liv actually ends up winning the title at WrestleMania, you just assume Raquel is going to be feeling more jealousy and resentment towards Liv Morgan instead of actually being happy for her. And that's where the real story is really at right there. That will convert into somebody leaving the Judgment Day right there, either Liv or Raquel. And then that will lead towards a personal title feud between Liv and Raquel. Raquel feels like Liv stole that title from her and doesn't deserve it, and Liv would have to stop Raquel from taking that title from her. That definitely feels like the long-term route they're going in, and that's why Liv Morgan absolutely has to select Stephanie for WrestleMania 42, to set that whole program with Raquel in place. No real story would come from Liv selecting Jade Cargill. It seems like the deeper story they want is with Liv surely picking the world title. And in every interview since the Royal Rumble, Liv has been very vocal about her belief that Raquel would never betray her, how Raquel had multiple opportunities, and how she understands that it's Liv's turn to get a shot at the title. But from the outside viewer's perspective, it surely does not seem like Raquel is jumping for joy right now for Liv Morgan coming after the Women's World title. It seems like something is definitely burning up inside of Raquel, and it's only a matter of time before it explodes and she takes it all out on Liv Morgan. Maybe the betrayal comes before WrestleMania, at WrestleMania, or the Raw after WrestleMania, but that big breakup is surely coming up in the near future for sure. But what are your thoughts on today's story? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.